This is part of the Diary of a Ghost Hunter. It is just a story that I made up, though. It is not a real experience, but still, let me know what you think. The night sky was an endless canvas of black ink. Thin gray clouds dotted the dim light from the half-crescent moon, and the chill itself brought a cold mist swallowing the cobblestone streets below. The towering wrought-iron street lamps worked endlessly, trying to shine through the thick fog, bringing a pale yellow glow to the seemingly empty town. A small pub sat proudly beside the street, the devouring ocean crashing against the rock wall behind it, sending salty spray into the already cold and clammy air. The street was lined with many small buildings, some lonely shops, and other warm homes, all whispering the small town of London's secret in the ever-blowing wind. A large clock tower to the west struck 2 a.m., and the hollow bang of the bells billowed through the streets, then echoed away into the darkness. A few silent moments later, 2 women walked staggeringly out of a pub door, giggling to each other and holding hands for balance, both dressed in long, elegant dresses and covered in warm capes. The shorter of the 2 women had long, wavy black hair. Her skin was pale, and her large golden eyes peered from under her cape's hood. Her dress was wine red and dragged heavily in the shallow puddles on the sidewalk. The taller of the 2 wore a green dress and cape. Her dirty blonde ringlets hung effortlessly around her pale face and hazel eyes. The 2 sisters stood and laughed for a moment at the corner of the street, watching the cobblestones disappear into the blackness on either end of the town. The giggles were brought to a shallow halt as 5 dark figures loomed out of the fog from across the street. A thick brick building with arches in the base of the foundation had been hiding these men, all dressed in long wool coats, some black, one a dark brown and one tan, each man carrying a bottle of sorts in one hand and one man foolishly hiding a small knife in the other. The girls tried not to pay attention to them as they drunkenly walked in their direction. Intentions and profanity came dripping from their mouths, and the sound of glass tinkling together echoed nervously in the darkness. Soon the girls were surrounded. The moon shone for a moment as the slowly passing clouds seemed to run from the scene. A glint shone in both girls' eyes, and a smug smile cleverly crossed their delicate faces. One man attacked, leaping into the circle towards the women, trying to tackle them to the ground, but he was quickly pushed away. Within seconds, even the moon had run off, taken all the light it had with it. The darkness swallowed the streets, and a mass of bodies entangled in a ball of fury and desire on the cold, wet stones of the street. Glass was heard shattering on the ground, and thuds of footsteps soon running away. The moon peeked out, shedding little light, enough to see a figure lying still warm on the cold street. 2 other bodies hunched over it. A gasp came from the doorway of the pub as a short, beer-bellied man stood in awe at the scene. The 2 figures stood and turned toward the man. Red blood tinted in the glow of the moon as the clouds once away scurried. The blood ran carelessly down the porcelain faces of the 2 women. Staining their lush lips, they smiled at the lone audience.